Welcome to Fjordhammer, and welcome to this new and completely revamped show. This is a new format. Those of you who've watched or listened to Fjordhammer before know that I've been running a podcast and doing some YouTube stuff, but I figured I really wanted to focus more on the Norwegian community, all the awesome guys and projects, and get some more community involvement in the stuff that we do. So, to do that, I needed a couple of co-hosts, and these are mine, and I'm very glad that you guys have decided to join me on this little adventure. So, how about we get to some introductions? Hans?
Yeah, hi. My name is Hans, as he said. I've played Warhammer on and off, I guess. I started when I was like 9 or 10, where I remember I walked into a comic book shop in Tønsberg called Vedeshuset. I walked into this comic book shop and I wanted to buy Pokemon cards, but they had these little metal models, and I'm like, that looks kind of cool. And I remember I got a Shadow Blade, like a Dark Elf Shadow Blade from all the way back in Fantasy, because it was like this cool dude. He had like a knife above his head. He had like a sword, and I'm like, that's awesome.
It's like a ninja and stuff, yeah.
It's like a ninja. So I bought that with my money instead. And my mom was like, what are you going to do with that? And I'm like, I don't know. And yeah, over the course of a couple of years, then I assembled, built, and painted a High Elves army, not Dark Elves.
You started up with some High Elves way back.
Yes.
Probably something like 6th or 7th edition?
I think it was like 6th, or maybe like the tail end of 5th, 6th edition, I think it was mostly. Ooh. And over the course of a while, I got a lot of High Elf archers and spearmen, but then I just went hard into silver helms and Tyrannok chariots, giant eagles, and Imric the Dragon Lord leading this very fast mobile army with this just archery line in the back pelting the enemy. And it was great fun. And when I was about, I think 13, 14, getting into, I guess, junior high would be the English equivalent. And I kind of, Warhammer wasn't the most popular thing. I was like one of 2 people left still doing it in my hometown. So I kind of dropped out. And then years later, when I was done with high school and I just, I moved on, I moved to Bergen, I got into studying, I studied biology. And as that, I just started that. A friend of mine came to me and said, hey, do you want to play Dark Heresy? And this is like a tabletop gaming thing. And I'm like, I have no idea what Dark Heresy is. It's like a role-playing game thing. It's sci-fi and all that stuff.
It's literally a role-playing game.
Yeah, literally a role-playing game. And I'm like, all right, cool. Can I be a wizard? And he just laughs at me and goes, yeah, you can be a psyker. And I played a Dark Heresy campaign. I got into 40k and then quickly rediscovered my old High Elf things, got into playing Age of Sigmar, realized High Elves were not really supported in Age of Sigmar. They're technically supported, but they're not good. And so I got into some Nurgle demons because I could use those for both systems. And I've just now gotten into Night Hunt. So that's my next project, is a little bit of Night Hunt.
Yeah, you're jumping on board. New edition, new army.
New edition, new army. I saw that Souls Wars box and saw all the different kinds of ghosts, and I was like, ooh, pretty. And yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a classic tale. Started when you were a kid, fell out when you reached your teens, and then came back.
Yeah.
And I think you probably have something quite similar, Marius.
Yeah, but for me it wasn't the High Elf, it was the Lizard Men back in the days, now known as the Seraphones. So I was probably around 10, 11-ish. I would put the blame on Lord of the Rings because the movies just came out and I got kind of addicted to the movies. Watched them a couple of 100 times and wanted to be involved in this fantasy world. And then somebody showed me a comic store down in Bergen City called Avalon. And I got introduced by a guy named Chris and Anton. And Anton, he was pretty tired of his Lizardman and he wanted to go on more 40k. So I got a really cheap Lizardman army. And I love dinosaurs. Since I was a kid, dinosaurs always been my thing. So Lizardman was definitely the way to go with both Stegodon and the Slan.
Yeah, who doesn't love
And I
dinosaurs?
love the old Magic as well. The old Magic back in the days when you have the Lord of Heavens, which I used with the comment of Cassandra, and a lot of good magic from the heavens. And what do you know? The heavens was actually the way that the Age of Sigmar survived. That's as seer.
Yeah, that's a good point. And the lizard men fled off into the sky to become the Seraphon.
Yeah. So, and then I actually met you, Alexander. It's probably 2 years ago when I had my first real, like I've been trying Age of Sigmar, but it wasn't the same when I learned the rules more or less from you, because the 4 pages didn't tell you that much.
No,
it's easier to learn the game when you're playing with someone who knows the game.
Yeah.
And now I've been on a couple adventures, both over in Oslo playing the Norwegian Championship, and I went on a greater adventure with you, Alexander, over to England and London, where we played for Team Norway in the Blood Tide.
Yeah, that was great. Me and you, and then Christian and Håvald went over, played some team games, beat the Swedish team, so definitely counts as winning the entire event.
We were definitely not the best ones there, but we beat the Swedish. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, does anything else really matter for us than beating the Swedes?
No.
No, it's also Nortude. We have the same mentality.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I think in terms of like Norwegian celebrities, it's like it's Petter Northug and then it's us.
Yeah, totally. No, also I do kind of feel like I'm not at the same league you guys are as far as playing goes, because I played a bit of skirmish. I've played a couple of full scale games across first edition. I did not play a lot of Age of Sigmar because my demons were not a big enough army for most of it, and I did not feel like playing my high elf. So I'm excited to get into second edition. There are some awesome things coming out with the Night Haunt, and I'm just like, an army I can paint with shades mostly. That sounds nice.
Yeah, it's incredibly easy to paint if you want to do like the spray them white, shade them with one of the technical colors.
Yeah,
you're like 80% there. So.
I did that. I went for like a blue flood slain type thing, and I'm excited to paint all of them like that.
Yeah, and I think that's a great thing that, Age of Sigmar 2 is making you want to really get back into the fantasy side. Because
yes,
I could totally understand not wanting to get into it when you've been playing High Elves, because like I played Tomb Kings, and Tomb Kings sort of stayed the same, but High Elves got really split up into a bunch of different factions. So,
and I mean, after the I feel the final nail in the coffin for me was when the next second General's Handbook came out. And most of the special units I liked, like the Tyrannic chariots or the Swiftclock agent chariots and things, were just generic units. They were just chariots with no added benefit any way or another. And I'm like, oh, okay. So anything that made them unique is gone. Silver Helms are reduced to just, they have a decent charge.
Yeah.
And so the only character I had left that kind of had its old feel was Imric the Dragon Lord, and I can't play one model, sadly.
He's not quite big enough. Like if he'd been Nagash sized, you could maybe play just him in 1,000 points. But
he's not 1,000. I think he's 830 or something. He's pretty big though.
Well, Nagash now is 800, but
yeah.
So you guys are back, or you guys are in. You're ready to get into the second edition, but this is where we want to cover like a bit of what is Age of Sigmar and the Norwegian community like. So you guys are playing in Bergen, and I did a lot there, but how about you guys tell me a little bit about what's the fantasy community like over in the best city in Norway?
No. We recently had a thing that I wish I was a bigger part of, that I just kind of watched you guys do, which was the Slowbro League we just started out here in Bergen, which I think was a great initiative, like having new people come in, starting new armies and everything like that. And I did not get to play a single game of Age of Sigmar during that entire league. I was like, oh, that's a great idea. I'm in. And during that time, I bought demons, I painted demons, I did all this, I got my Nurgle demons up to almost 2,000 points. And I also had work every Wednesday where local club meets, and I had all those other things. So I missed out on any game of that. I played a couple of skirmish games. But that's the thing I love, and that's gone on to become, they had a tournament even at the end of it, which was great. And as far as Age of Sigmar goes in Bergen, I like to think the community's good, even though I haven't really gotten into it yet because I've been busy. But now I'm excited to come back in.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Marius, is that your impression? You guys are both in Bergen, I'm in Oslo, so just so our viewers know the difference here.
Yeah, I would say in Bergen, it's kind of divided. I think it's probably more or less like that in whole Norway, but a lot of people went over to play Ninth Age and went over to play Kings of what's it called? Kings of War. And I can understand that for some part. Having been where I had a Seraphon and they came up with some pretty good rules, straight away, I would struggle as well if my high elves would be divided into 6 different sub-fractions and you couldn't combine them and stuff like that. I understand that people are annoyed with what's happened. They didn't take care of everyone. They kind of make halfway rules for the ones that they didn't take care of, and the ones they took care of, some they just went overboard, like Siege. So I felt like Age of Sigmar was not broken, but it was not perfect, if I can say it in that way. Yeah. And but for me as a Seraphon player, I think it was pretty awesome because I got the new book and it was pretty easy to start. But of course, when I came into the club here in Norway, we have a club called Titan Miniature Club, which is more or less Titan Miniature Club. And it's very divided. Some people play Infinity, some people play 40k, some people play 30k, and you have a lot of people just playing a small skirmish game Blood Bowl or stuff like that. And then the Age of Sigmar community has been growing, and it has been growing a lot. And I think part of the reason, as Hans just said, is the Slow Grow League, which a friend of ours, Ola, created, and we got around 20 people, and more or less on average we've been 4 to 6 players. When the Slow Grow League, I think we were at the top around 12 players in Bergen, so that really helped boost the community. And then we did the Bergen Bergen Championship, where we also had around, I think it was 10 players which played. So that is also very great that we see that it's increased. I really hope that we can go from now, I think we're around 20 people that has the interest and around 12 who's very active. I think we can take it much further, and with the new rules that are coming, with all the exciting stuff that is happening, I really hope we can grow the community.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard talk of and rumors, and I kind of want to get involved this time, that there's going to be another Slow Grow Restoration League with the new edition coming out. Because we're hoping actual new players might show up, oh, this is cool, I might get on the ground floor here. People might be pulled in, splitting starter kits and whatnot. So that would be nice, to have another one of those maybe, or get more people in. But it's at least active, I feel, the people that are here.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Because I remember, as you were saying, Marius, when Age of Sigmar came out, most of the veterans weren't quite as fond of it. They liked the rank and flank gameplay style. They were already a bit grumbling around Games Workshop's various policies. So a lot of the veteran community, went over to Ninth Age or Kings of War. So when I wanted to play Age of Sigmar back the first 6 months of release, there really weren't anyone in the at the club who played it. So
remember, you got me to play. You did get me to play once, where you're like, "Oh, you played fantasy?" I'm like, "Yeah, I played fantasy." He's like, "Well, you can use your high elves." I'm like, "I can use my high elves." And you're like, "Yeah, you could totally use your high elves." And I look at the rules and I'm like, "I can't really use my high elves, can I?" Well, and you're like, no, they're not the best.
How to try to grab people.
For open game, it's not really that. Then you just have to reevaluate the points. Yeah. I would say you can play the highest for an open game. For a match game, it's
no.
But I mean, if with the old factions, what we're going to see now is like the legends, like we saw for the Dark Elves, where you get a complete faction that works together like they used to do in Warhammer Fantasy Battles. So that's going to be a thing for narrative and open play in the future. But for me, it's really great to see that Bergen as a community has sort of is running and it's growing, and that you guys are doing stuff and making things happen. So like, congrats to Ole for
totally
making that slow grow league. And like 10 guys at a tournament, that's a lot. That's more than I was able to get when I was running Age of Sigmar stuff over there. So that's really, really cool for me.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of other communities here in Norway. Like, for those of you
who... it over in Oslo. Now it's your turn to tell us about...
Tell us talk about Oslo now.
Oslo. Oslo and Bergen's like kind of rivals, and I'm from Bergen, so I'm just forced to live here. But the Oslo community
no one's forcing you. No one's forcing you.
Kind of, if I want to, stay in my relationship, I have to live here. But
but that's on you.
That's true. I did choose that. I'd rather do that than play Warhammer in Bergen, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, but Oslo has the advantage of having a Games Workshop store. It's the only Games Workshop store in Norway. So there's always like a continual recruitment of new people, new players. They do put in a lot of work to make a community. And there's also a very strong like miniatures games community. You have Oslo Miniature Games Club, Omsk, which does like, they play all miniature games, obviously from the name, and they used to be really big and very varied. Now it's a bit slower at the moment, but they play a lot of different games. And so for the last, I'd say, half year or so, I've been running events here in Oslo to try and like bring up some enthusiasm, make it a happening place for Age of Sigmar. And it's really interesting because there's a lot of great people here and a lot of there's a growing enthusiasm that is also fueled by there being a lot of people who see the game and see that it's become a much better one. But there's also stuff like a strong Kings of War and Ninth Age community as well. So there's a lot of different stuff in Oslo, like even more variety than there is in Bergen. But as Marius mentioned, we last year and the year before we had like the Norwegian championships that got around 20-ish players.
We were 26. We was almost 30.
If you really round up, we're almost 30.
That's almost 100.
Almost 100 people.
Almost 100 people attended. You gotta work it out. I was actually stopped by that Games Workshop store in Oslo. It's a good place.
But have you heard the Omsk there? Because it was Omsk who did the Norwegian championship.
It was I think Sebastian and Christian Martinsson who like ran the Norwegian championship. So I haven't been involved in that, so I don't know if they're like planning something for the next year or anything. But I really hope that it happens because Norway has very few people. For those of you who don't know, there's only about like 5.4 million people, and the country is as big as Germany. So distances are very, very long. It's like if I wanted to drive to Bergen for an event, that would be an 8-hour drive.
Yeah, thereabouts.
So like driving from one town to the next in the US or something. But
I mean, the plane's just 45 minutes though, so there's no excuse really. All right, I think I wanted to mention something about that Games Workshop store in Oslo because they're great there. Because I was in Oslo like a week and a half ago for a wedding, and like I was at the ceremony and like they said their vows and it was beautiful, and they're like, okay, we're gonna meet here in like 4 hours for dinner and the reception and everything else. So in my head I'm like 4 hours, girlfriend wants to go home, she wants to take a nap, people are doing this and this, I have 4 hours, the Games Workshop store is 45 minutes away. So I got changed, took a walk to the Games Workshop store, stopped by, looked at the new edition, looked at the miniatures, talked to a dude there. Actually got one of the new like snap fit Stormcast that I converted into like an awesome Bretonnian knight thing. And that's a great store.
You didn't go there in like your wedding attire with like a
no
tie and.
I mean, I should have, right? I should have showed up in like full. I had like a little handkerchief and everything too. It was great. No. But my girlfriend did laugh at me though. She was like, "Where did you go?" And I'm like, "I got miniatures. Like I got this thing and I got this thing."
Well, at least you're not like, hiding who you are. She knows what she's getting into.
I mean, like our bedroom's in another room over there, and like in this office, it's just giant robots and demons. Yeah. And she knows what she's gotten into at this point. She has no excuse.
Yeah, this cabinet is all miniatures. You can kind of see stuff. There's another cabinet there.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that Games Workshop store is great. And there's also communities like in Kristiansand, in Tromsø, small community in Trondheim, I believe. So there's a lot of communities around in Norway, and if you run a community or part of a community somewhere, please like get in touch.
Yeah, I'd say like if you think about Norway and the community, I've been to the guy that runs the comic store here, and I think it's a lot of people that just paint. It's a lot of people that buy models that just paint and don't really know it's a game. So I think there you also have like it's a huge potential just in people just because he says there's a lot of people buying the miniatures, but they're not like into the game of it yet, or they don't know how it is, or they think it's too advanced to play or stuff like that.
Yeah.
I also know for a fact that a lot of people get miniatures or selected kits for Dungeons and Dragons specifically.
Yeah, or at least they
like, because no, they still do. I know people who still do. Is the thing. And I know people who are like, "Oh, I want one model from this 20-man box," and they'll get the 20-man box and then be like, "Well, I have this one dude, and then I have 19 models." So I think there is conversion potential here from people who just paint or collect into people who play.
Yeah, and I think if I was to like analyze the Norwegian communities and why they're smaller today than they were 15 years ago, recruitment is one of those big issues because like you got Marius, you got recruited in because of Chris and Anton at a game store. I got recruited because one of my friends got recruited by the same guys. And like
I got recruited because of you, Alex.
And I was working at that game store at the time.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of lost potential there, or a lot of stuff that hasn't been happening because maybe that first wave of enthusiasts sort of stopped working at game stores and got grown-up jobs. So recruitment got harder.
Well, here's me trying to get a job at a game store again. That would be nice.
So I think when I look at it, I think there's a lot of potential in the Norwegian community, and that's one of the things that I want this show to be about is giving the Norwegian community something to look at and enjoy, and giving the international community an insight into a very small but also really interesting little community.
Very dedicated community, I feel.
Yeah.
Like I've seen some amazing, there's people who do just amazing conversions and kit bashes and like all these awesome things.
Absolutely.
Like I'm donating bits from my 40k Mechanicus army to a Skaven army of just Skitari Mechanicus rifle wielding rats, which looks awesome. So
yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? There's a lot of like cool potential there, a lot of dedicated people doing fun things, and yeah, it'll be fun.
So,
but what has me really excited from possibly building the community is the coming of Age of Sigmar 2nd edition. Segueing into the next topic here.
Absolutely, it is going to be. It's going to be amazing. I've got a poster for it. Marius has a poster for it.
Edit in a poster.
I'll edit a poster over your face.
Or just like bam on the side. Like there's a white box here you can work with. Do your worst. I'm I'm excited.
Yeah, so completely new edition. Bunch of small rule changes. I want to hear Marius, what is your number one thing that you're looking forward to in second edition?
Magic.
Magic.
As a Seraphon player, that makes a lot of sense.
Okay, Marius, question for you then. They just announced the faction-specific endless spells, right? And if you saw this, they announced like there's 3 specific Stormcast spells and 3 way cooler Nighthaunt spells. Do you think Seraphon will get their own like kit of like?
I know they have announced they will come. Like it will
they
come.
have?
Yeah, it will come like 3 own Seraphon spells. So
that's awesome.
Looking forward to that, and I'm also I don't have the kit yet, but I'm looking forward to Saturday because then I'm going to get the endless spell kit as well. So just see what lies in the open, and also see what kind of artifacts or magic effects you can put on your characters and stuff like that. That I'm also looking forward to. I think it's going to be a much deeper game because now it's going to be like everybody has an opportunity to like make their own kind of version, what they need extra, like if you're slow, maybe you want some extra movement and you're going to put on some extra stuff that gives you extra movement. Or you're Skaven and you're scared and you want to put on some buffs that gives you inspiring presence, or even though that's in the abilities as well now. Yeah. So, but I think a lot of the stuff that I'm looking forward to is more or less in the endless spells and see what's happening there. And they look kind of fun as well. Like you can start something and you can't control it, and it can destroy the map. And I always think games will go faster that way. And I always think if you can make the games faster, it's always better because you wanna, when you're out playing, you want to get as much games as you want. And it's easy to get stuck in a 4-hour game and you want to just get through with it in like 2 hours.
Yeah, speed of gameplay also.
Good old days of 4-hour games.
It's cool if you have like 3,000 points you're playing and that's what you're up for. But when you're on a match game and you're playing 2,000 points, you want to be able to get to round 5 and not get caught by the clock.
Absolutely. I mean, upping like playtime to like how fast it plays is a tremendous help for tournaments as well, because that allows you to have multiple rounds and have it actually be more of like a fighting multiple opponents rather than just like, hey, you played your 3 games and now you're done, kind of thing, which is not the most fun thing. Alex, do you want to talk about what you're excited about, or should I go on?
I want to hear what you're most excited about.
I am most excited about. So since I'm just getting into Nighthaunt, picking up the Tormented Spirits box and the Nighthaunt starter thing on Saturday, as well as having a massive pile of demons at this point, with Plague Bearers and Plague Drones and 4 Soul Grinders. I don't know what I'm going to need 4 Soul Grinders for, but I have 4 Soul Grinders.
Gonna grind someone's souls with them.
I'll figure it out. The summoning rules, not costing reinforcement points, and like the idea of running Horticulus Limux for Nurgle now, literally just planting the garden. If they said that the War Scrolls from Maggotkin was valid still in second edition.
Yeah.
I can rock the Beast of Nurgle Horticulus Limux setup where you can plant trees every round all over for no cost. That's just going to get those contagion points up, and I'm going to be summoning in, all these demons for nothing. I'm excited to just have this like endless tide of plague just rolling over the battlefield as I make my little garden. That sounds fun. I'm excited about the summoning rules.
I'm excited too. It's coming a lot of new stuff for Seraphon there as well, so it's going to be a lot of summoning for Seraphon. So I'm probably going to buy some more Distillodons. I already have 2. Alex convinced me on buying the second one so I could get do the Thunder Star Host.
Yeah, the Thunderquake Star Host.
Yeah, Thunderquake Star Host. And but now we're probably going to need more Distillodons because if I don't use magic, I can still put on some more models.
Yeah, you can summon more Bastillodons and everyone's gonna love you.
I'm just gonna have like 5 Bastillodons in the back and just have magicians out there just summoning.
Yeah, I think the new summoning rules is really changing up how a lot of factions work. Because you didn't used to use them. Like, nobody used summoning rules, really.
I mean, the only thing you kind of did with Nurgle was because the trees were the first things, like, even back in first edition at the end, they didn't have a points cost.
Yeah.
They cost like 3 or 7 contagion points. I don't remember.
I think it's 7, but yeah.
The 7, yeah, because that's the number of Nurgle, of course. And you also had people who could place them down for no cost, with Horticulus Lemix having his Cultivate the Garden thing, where once per game he could do it, or every round if you did the right setup. That was like the one thing I used it for. It was like I can summon things. But wasn't it also pretty good for the blood tithe or blood wave? What's the corn thing? It's blood something.
Yeah, well, they get blood tithe points, but they still need reinforcement points to summon models. Yeah. So you usually never use it.
No.
I saw a lot of Siege players used it when they had like pink horrors going to blue horror.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they were. I'm not sure if you want to call that summoning or if you're just thinking the models just split up into 2. So.
Yeah, they like summon a herald onto an objective, and then they'd split all their horrors into other horrors. But that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I think. For me, it's actually a bit split what I'm most looking forward to. On the one hand, I'm really looking forward to them tightening up the rules. Like Age of Sigmar, the core rule set is pretty good. It's a strong like core rule set, but we've seen a lot of like individual war scrolls and stuff and army rules and stuff be a bit looser. So I'm really looking forward to them sort of tightening it up, and it looks like they've been doing that. On the other hand, with the rules, I'm really looking forward to more narrative as a part of the whole rule set and as part of the whole game. Like, as you said, Marius, with the endless spells, you unleash something and then you can't control it and it'll just fly around. Or, as you were talking about, Hans, with the Garden of Nurgle, you are literally summoning the Garden of Nurgle during the game.
Yeah, it's just like contagion just flows. It looks great.
Exactly, and it's bringing that narrative into both match play, but also opening it up for narrative games and doing it in a way that you couldn't before. And that's really what I'm looking forward to is playing the stories even better than I could before.
And on that note of like adding the narrative to the gameplay itself, I'm excited about the prospect that they've done now twice. Both once in Age of Sigmar and once in Warhammer 40k, and that's the like transforming models mid-game with Morathi. Right?
I was thinking about actual like transformer models. I was like,
no, I'm talking about like she starts out as this, and then like massive, awesome snake lady.
But imagine like a dreadnought kit that was also literally a transformer.
I mean, that's my. I mean, have you seen my knights? They're all magnetized. I can just pose and swap and do all the nonsense.
Yeah, but you go from like a rhino to a dreadnought and then back, and then you have to paint every.
Yeah.
Games Workshop, if you make this, you owe me money.
Literal transformer kits where like it's a car and then it's dude in a suit.
Yeah, it's gonna be amazing. But yeah, I agree. I really like the Morathi going from the. What's it like?
The priestess, not the priestess or whatever.
High priestess to Morathi Unleashed or whatever.
Yeah, the serpent lady. I don't know the rules. I have not got into Daughters of Cain at all. Looking at it, I've just seen the models and just went, that looks cool.
Yeah.
And that's the extent of it. Same thing I've done with Deepkin. And I've bought some Deepkin just because they look cool, just to paint up, like the Tide Caller and a couple other things. And I'm looking at that shark.
Yeah, but they really do look cool.
There's a shark with artillery on its back.
What you should
frickin' laser beams.
Go. The Levian, is that what it's called? The
Leviathan is the giant turtle.
The shark like the Alopex something.
Yeah, Alopex is the shark.
Yeah, and
I think what you need to do, Hans, is buy the Stormcast Endless Spells. You have like the Hammer Tornado. And then you buy like 2-3 Alopex kits.
Oh my!
And then you get the Sharknado. I don't know what you play it as, but you need to do it.
What I'd play it as.
We'd make some rules.
You'd figure out rules for Sharknado. I feel like if I did that and took a picture and sent it to Games Workshop, like, what rules do I use? Maybe, just maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's some of the stuff that we're looking forward to in the new edition. It's dropping this Saturday. This video should be out before that. So
hopefully. Alex. Whoa, yeah.
Yeah, we'll make it work.
And I mean, I'm just gushing here because there's so much stuff like for the new edition. They just announced today too the newest Stormcast heroes, and yesterday they had the Nighthaunt heroes.
I'm
with
still
the last
getting that Mortarch of Grief.
Yeah, Mortarch of Grief. Have you seen fucking Reaper on a Pegasus?
Yeah, but that's like...
That's awesome. That's...
Yeah,
you can have Lady in a Veil with a Ghost Move. That's fine. Fucking Reaper on a Pegasus. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, the new models are looking great, and I think this edition is... I think it's really delivering on all fronts. You've got the core book. You finally have a core book which has all the stories, which has all the background, has all the narrative, so that for all the players who sort of but kind of don't really understand the setting, you now have a book to get into, and that's going to be a great help. They're doing a lot with the rules, which is going to make tournaments and stuff even more interesting. As you were talking about, Marius, like endless spells gives a lot of factions, a lot of options.
The fact that the base kit is non-faction specific with the endless spells, I really like that fact that everyone can use the basic 12. That's for anyone to take.
Yeah,
I kind of like that.
It's supposed to be 80 artifacts or stuff like that, isn't it?
Yeah, there's also
crazy.
A lot of realm-based artifacts. So you say, my faction or my army is from the Realm of Fire, and that gives you access to Realm of Fire artifacts and stuff. So you can customize your army, but you can also maximize it for tournaments and events. So you get a little bit of both worlds, really.
And I mean, that also inspires the painting. And I'm very much on the design and painting side of things. Just the idea of like having all the realms as themes for an army. Like you could have, like I'm doing water-themed Nighthaunt. Floodslain is like my concept for my old D&D stuff, people know that. And I'm excited to see what that's going to turn out to be. If it's not good, I'll use different rules, but I'll still paint it up, like interestingly, like that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff you can do. Like, people think Fire Slayers, and they think the Realm of Fire, but, you know, turn that around. What do Fire Slayers in the Realm of Light look like? What do Fire Slayers from the Realm of Shadow look like? And also...
Fire Slayers from Sheesh would be awesome.
Yeah, like paint their faces with skulls and stuff.
Yeah.
Whatever. There's a lot of options, and I think this book is really catering to all of it.
Yeah.
So maybe we round out a bit there for the first episode. We've got some...
Sure.
We've talked a bit about ourselves, our communities, and what we're looking forward to in the new edition. We may need to, you know, get into the book and actually dig into it and see...
Or have the models.
Yeah, dig into the book, get out the models. I know both of you were thinking about doing some Nighthaunt. Marius, you were talking about maybe going Order and with the Sacrosanct.
One more time?
That you were thinking about doing Sacrosanct Chamber, or like do more of the Stormcast guys?
Yeah, because I heard that the starter kit is a bit broken. You have to do some refills to make sure that everything is up to match play. So at least I was down at the comic store right before I came up here talking to you guys, and I just ordered 3 more. What are the new models for the Stormcast again? The woman's. You remember the names?
Yeah, the Sequitors.
Sequitors. I just ordered 3 more Sequitors because you get 8 Sequitors instead of getting 10 Sequitors. So now at least I have 11 Sequitors when I first start, because I've been looking at their rules, and their rules are ridiculous. Like, I heard it's 20 extra points from the Liberators, but they are like way better than the Liberators. Like, they're not 4-3 or 3-4. They're like 3-3, and you get a lot of extra buffs, and they just looks like 10 times more fun to play than the normal Liberators. Also been reading about the generals, war scrolls as well, and the new general that you get in the starter kit or hero is also just like amazing. And he's a wizard, and the unit's a wizard, and you get an extra wizard, so it's Stormcast is going all magic. I kind of feel like Stormcast kind of control everything, and now that they know magic, like everybody gets some endless spell. Like they combine with the 9 talent is just opening a whole new magic era for Age of Sigmar.
Absolutely. And in our next video, I'm going to be receiving a full set of both the core set or the starter set and the malign sorcery stuff. So for our next video, I think we're gonna have to crack open those and take a look and talk a little bit about, you know, what do we want to do with the models and how do we want to play with all the new spells and all that sort of stuff, so we can really get into that second edition magic flavor.
Yeah, totally.
And I'm really impressed by Games Workshop and the Warhammer community over in England, because they as well have been pretty been pretty good at making content, both videos and articles that comes out like every day now has been a new piece of candy that you get to eat. So I think that's pretty nice that they give you something every day, something to look forward. Just catch the White Dwarf today, so I have some more stuff to read on.
Yeah,
and even printed out the core rules. I think that was pretty cool as well, that they did just an open thing with the core rules, and all the war scrolls for new models. It's in the Age of Sigmar app, so you get to like go in and see what the new models will do. The only thing I'm kind of worrying about is like, I really hope they can take some of the points down for the old models if they're going to give so much to new.
Yeah.
Looks like they really want to just like you to buy new shit and not take the points for it in match play as you would if you would to use old models. So I hope they kind of either give the old models some buffs, or they would like reduce their costs so they still be the same. That's the only challenging thing that I could see.
Yeah. On the other hand, though, Games Workshop already has like a proven thing with this. Because I play 40k, and they've already done that with like the new Space Marines and stuff. Like they made the new stuff better, and the old stuff expensive. So you're gonna take the new stuff.
Yeah.
Well,
and that might just be a sales tactic.
They both do and don't do that. There's a lot of releases that people just think are garbage. When the Fire Slayers first came out, nobody played them because they weren't very good. A couple of years ago, when Tyranids got a ton of new monsters, none of them were any good, so nobody bought them. They do drop new releases, and they're often quite good, but I don't think it's always something that they've planned. But I think it's worth checking out the new General's Handbook. That's maybe something we can talk about next time. Do we feel the new stuff is a lot better than the old stuff? Just like, is that an impression that we get? Because
I mean, I feel like I'll be an oddity in that conversation, because I'm going for Night Haunt, and they haven't had that much stuff so far as their own allegiance. It's just been Hex Wraiths and Spirit Hosts for Battle Line, and a bunch of heroes and a few other things.
Yeah, but I play a lot of Death, so I can bring the comparisons if you bring the enthusiasm.
Cool. I'm here. I'm all about design and painting. Balance and rules is not my thing. I'll just be like, oh, look, they're like Skaven ghosts. And you'd be like, well, actually, they're not that good compared to them. Like, but look, they're like little rat things.
I think they're actually supposed to be horses, but I also thought they were rats. I would have liked them to be rats. But
in my army, they're Skaven.
Forge your own narrative. All right. So we'll wrap it up a bit. Is there anything you guys want to say? Anywhere people can follow you, or anything you want people to check out before we end?
No. Subscribe to this channel if you're interested in hearing our rambling nonsense about current or old Age of Sigmar stuff. If you want to sign up to have me take down old high elf models, like, look, this is Tyrion. He was good once upon a time.
Right. Have you put them on square bases?
They're still on square bases, yeah.
No, I mean
Tyrion?
Round bases. Have you put them on round bases?
No, I haven't.
You haven't.
Shame.
I have not. I'm keeping it old school. How's that a shame?
All right, Marius, anywhere people, any last words from you?
Subscribe to this channel and make sure that the Norwegian community grows. Give insight to the English and the world community. We will keep on rocking, keep on playing. As long as you are here watching us, we're staying.
Awesome.
I mean, even if you're not watching, we'll probably stay for a bit. So, you know.
Until we get bored.
Yeah.
No, but I want to make this into something awesome, and I want to make it something that you guys want to watch and that we want to create. So, yeah, like, subscribe, comment if there's anything you guys want to know about Norway and the Norwegian community. Or if you're in the Norwegian community and would like to share some of your enthusiasm, we'd love to hear from you.
Yep.
And I can recommend if there's people from Bergen watching, come to Titan on Wednesdays. Play. It's ute på Landos.
Yeah, just search it on Facebook, you'll find the thing.
All right.
And cut. And cut.